all right, settle down. Spring 2025 is here. And wow, what a season. It's a season. From long-awaited sequels to some truly unique new originals, we've got a lot to unpack. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and cram this entire season kicking and screaming into a nutshell. Starting off strong, we've got the heavy hitters returning.
目的は
この地球を太陽にすることです。
First up, Fire Force Season 3. After 4 years, David Production is back to finish adapting the manga. More Infernals, more Adala bursts, more Arthur being, well, Arthur. We're hitting the final arcs, so expect the stakes to be higher, the animation even more fire, and hopefully some answers about this whole spontaneous human combustion thing. It's the beginning of the end, folks. Let's see if it can live up to the long wait. Speaking of returns, Windbreaker Season 2 is here. Cloverworks is giving us more pretty boys punching things, but like, nicely. Season 1 had surprisingly clean animation for a delinquent show, focusing on being neighborhood protectors instead of just pure anarchy. Season 2 is diving deeper into the gang warfare, so expect more stylish brawls and aesthetically pleasing violence. It's basically Tokyo Revengers, but with less time travel and significantly better dental plans. And of course, the spin-off nobody strictly asked for, but maybe we're getting anyway. My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Studio Bones is taking us back 5 years before Deku broke his bones daily. We follow Koichi, the Crawler, who's basically a discount Spider-Man with a sliding quirk, and his crew of unlicensed heroes. It's supposed to be a grittier street-level look at the MHA world. Is it essential viewing? Probably not for the main plot. Is it more MHA content? Yeah, it is. So, if you've exhausted every plus ultra meme, here's your fix.
なら、ボインでもいいですよ。
Ah, Isekai. Like the changing of the seasons, you can always count on it. Spring 2025 delivers. We've got I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level Season 2. The OG chill Isekai is back for more slice-of-life goodness. Azusa just wanted to live a slow life, but accidentally became OP and adopted an entire fantasy family. If you liked Season 1, this is just more of that. Low stakes, comfy vibes, and probably another weirdly powerful loli joining the household. Don't expect plot, expect tea and quiet naps.
Ohayo, Arthur.
Then there's The Beginning After the End. This one's a big web novel / manhwa adaptation. King reincarnates as a baby, keeps his memories, gets OP real fast. Sounds familiar, right? Apparently, the animation from Studio A-Cat isn't quite hitting the mark for some viewers, especially compared to other popular action fantasy shows. So while the story has potential, it's popular for a reason. The adaptation might be a bit rough around the edges. Proceed with caution or just read the source. And speaking of unknowingly OP protagonists, enter the unaware Atelier Meister. This dude gets kicked out of the hero's party because they think he's useless. Turns out his combat skill is low, but literally everything else is SSS rank. Crafting, SSS, mining, SSS, probably making toast, SSS. It's another overpowered protagonist who doesn't realize its story, but with a focus on crafting and being a good dude instead of fighting. Studio EMT² is on animation. It's aiming for those comfy, low-stakes, slightly absurd vibes. Finally, we have I'm the evil lord of an intergalactic empire. Our protagonist dies a miserable life being virtuous, so he decides to be evil in his next life, in space. But no matter how hard he tries to be a terrible tyrant, all his evil plans just accidentally make things better, earn him fans, and generally result in peace and prosperity. It's an isekai, but with a sci-fi space empire coat of paint, and the central gag that he's terrible at being evil. Moving on to things that aren't just people swinging swords or getting hit by trucks, We have Kowloon generic romance. This one is setting itself apart purely on aesthetic. It's set in a fictionalized, seemingly nostalgic version of the Kowloon walled city and follows a romance between two real estate agents. But there's a mystery simmering under the surface, with hints of something not quite right about the city and the characters themselves. Studio Arvo Animation is handling this, and the visuals look pretty atmospheric. The manga is actually entering its final arc just as the anime airs, which is a timing choice. Next, the Shunji family children. Okay, buckle up. A guy lives with his 5 sisters and 1 younger brother. Seems like a normal rom-com setup. Then their dad drops a bomb. None of them are blood related. Suddenly, the sibling relationships are, well, they're not siblings anymore. Doga Kobo is the studio known for great character animation in rom-coms. This premise is ripe for awkwardness and exploring the what-if of previously forbidden feelings. Then there's Can a Boy-Girl Friendship Survive? The synopsis asks the age-old question. Childhood best friends in a gardening club. Everything is platonic until the boy's first crush shows up, and the girl starts questioning her own feelings. Reviewers seem to find the premise itself a bit dated, but the execution might have some charm, focusing on the drama of figuring out feelings rather than pure comedy. So, can it survive? Probably not the friendship as they knew it. And for something truly unique,
今からするわよ
Makina-san's a love bot? Popular high school girl is actually a damaged android, and the shy, robot-loving guy she likes finds out and has to fix her. Her way of thanking him by living with him and offering android-level services. This looks like pure, unadulterated, probably ecchi-filled absurdity. Bloomseed is the studio. It's definitely one of those shows this season. Back to fantasy worlds, but with slightly different flavors.
こんな女いなくなればいいのにね
Sword of the Demon Hunter, Kijin Gentosho. Set in Edo period Japan, this is a dark fantasy about a shrine guardian turned demon hunter who has to fight demons and travel through time across centuries. It's got swords, demons, history, and time travel. Yokohama Animation Lab is the studio, and early impressions suggest it's a surprisingly solid, perhaps even a stealth hit, with good fight choreography and a focus on emotional depth over just non-stop action like some other demon-slaying shows.
闇営業の治癒士闇ヒーラーになってしまうか
Next, the brilliant healer's new life in the shadows. Another kicked out of the party story. A healer is deemed useless, gets kicked out, and opens a hidden clinic in the slums. Turns out he's not useless at all, but incredibly powerful, especially with unlicensed magic. It's another take on the unknowingly OP protagonist, but with a focus on healing and building a community in the shadows, rather than adventuring. It feels like it's leaning into the comforting underdog fantasy.
お前あと1年で死ぬよ
We also have Once Upon a Witch's Death. An apprentice witch is told she has only 1 year to live and needs to collect 1,000 joyful tears to break the curse. This sounds like a recipe for emotional, perhaps bittersweet, episodic stories, as she travels and helps people find joy. Studio EMT Squared again, it's aiming for a heartfelt fantasy drama vibe.
ようこそパルナコルタへ
And finally, The Too Perfect Saint, tossed aside by my fiancé and sold to another kingdom. A saint is dumped by her fiancé prince because she's too perfect and has no charm, then basically traded to another kingdom. But in the new place, her perfection is actually appreciated, and she finds a better life. It's a classic dumped heroine finds happiness elsewhere fantasy, leaning into wish fulfillment and proving the jerks wrong. Expect a competent but potentially satisfying story of overcoming petty rejection. Now for the rest, the slightly less categorizable but potentially interesting bunch. Catch Me at the Ballpark. This isn't about the players. It's a slice-of-life comedy about the people working at a baseball stadium, the beer vendors, the staff, the security guards, and the eccentric regulars. EMT squared again, they're busy this season. It's a unique setting for a character-driven comedy. Reviews say it has good chemistry and humor, focusing on the everyday human stories around the sport. Could be a charming, relaxing watch even if you don't know a home run from a hot dog.
ねえ、私たちバンド組まない？
Next, rock is a lady's modesty. Elite all-girls academy student is forced to abandon her love for rock music to fit in, but finds a fellow secret rocker. It's a music drama about finding your passion and rebelling, elegantly, of course, against strict expectations. Studio BN Pictures is animating, and they're using motion capture for the instrument playing. Early reviews are surprisingly positive, praising the character dynamics and the music sequences.
魔女になりたいって
We also have My Bashi Witches, original anime from Sunrise. High school girls in My Bashi City get recruited by a talking frog to become witches who grant wishes through magic, music, and dance. It sounds like a local idol, magical girl mashup mixed with promoting a specific city. Sunrise is a big name, but original anime can be hit or miss, could be surprisingly fun or completely baffling. We'll see. And, The Gorilla God's Go-To Girl. This synopsis is brief, but the title, well, it's memorable. A shy girl with superhuman gorilla power struggles with normalcy as others want her strength. Animated by Kachigarasu. Is it an action show? A comedy? A weirdly specific fantasy? The title alone is enough to make it noteworthy this season. Let's just say, it exists. And it involves a gorilla god, apparently. More sequels are also popping up.
ハーレンレーナ、よろしくね。
Aharen-san wa Hakarenai, Season 2. The quiet, tiny, indecipherable Aharen and the dense but kind Raidu are back for more awkward romantic comedy antics. Felix Film returns. If you enjoyed their incredibly small and sometimes incredibly close sense of distance in Season 1, get ready for more of the same comfortable, low-key humor.
グリーン部隊配属決定多め。
Go, Go, Loser Ranger, Season 2. Negi Haruba's take on the Sentai genre, but from the perspective of a grunt monster trying to take down the corrupt heroes. Yostar Pictures is back. Season 1 was a fun subversion, and Season 2 continues Fighter D's infiltration and the cracks appearing in the Ranger Force. If you like deconstructions of superhero tropes with some solid action, this is your jam.
私はノマドになるんだ。
Bye Bye, Earth Season 2. Belle, the only human in a world of anthropomorphic animals, continues her journey to find others like her, wielding a ridiculously oversized sword. Leiden Films is back for Season 2. Expect more fantasy adventure, possibly delving deeper into Belle's origins and the world's mysteries. Shoshimin, How to Become Ordinary, Season 2. The low-key mystery solvers who just want to be average are back. They try to avoid trouble but keep stumbling into everyday mysteries. Leap and Track returns. It's cozy, character-focused, and proves that even minor occurrences can be baffling if you have the right perspective, or wrong perspective depending on the show.
まさか
Black Butler, Emerald Witch Arc. Sebastian and Seal are back, heading to Germany to investigate a mystery involving witches and maybe werewolves. This arc is apparently a fan favorite, described as having a fairy tale-like horror feel compared to previous arcs. If you like your historical, demonic, slightly campy mysteries, the Phantom Hive duo delivers. Rounding out the season, Summer Pockets. Based on a visual novel by Key, a guy escapes to a rural island after a bad incident and meets several girls. Studio Feel. It's a nostalgic, emotional, slice-of-life romance visual novel adaptation. If you're a fan of Key's previous works and are ready for some potential feels on a summer island, this is probably for you. Your Forma. Sci-fi mystery set in a world where smart thread tech records everything. An investigator uses it to dive into memories and solve crimes, but it's hard on her assistants. Geno Studio is animating. It's based on a light novel, and apparently the anime jumps ahead, assuming you know the early parts of the story, which could be confusing for newcomers. High-concept sci-fi mystery, but maybe read the source first? Everyday Host, a short-form gag anime about a former insurance salesman who becomes a host at a quirky club. Features eccentric co-workers, animated by Fanworks, Agretsuko. Expect quick, surreal, probably weird humor centered around host club life. Could be a hidden gem for short comedy bursts. And then there are the ones where the info is thin, or the title tells you most of what you need to know. From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. Title says it all. A middle-aged dude from the countryside who teaches swordsmanship gets called to the capital because his former student is now a legendary knight. He thinks he's nobody, but apparently his skills are god tier. Expect an unassuming OP protagonist, lots of people underestimating him, and probably some surprisingly good sword fights if reviews are to be believed. It's an awesome fantasy and seems to be hitting the right notes for fans of that niche. Ah yes, a few more. The list was long. Mobile Suit Gundam, GQ-WooX. Whoops, how did I miss a Gundam? Alternate Universal Century Timeline, Zeon won the one-year war because Char stole the original Gundam. Features a female lead and involves underground mobile suit battles. Studio Sunrise and Studio Kara. This has serious pedigree. Early theatrical screenings got positive buzz. This could be a major one. So what's the verdict on spring 2025? Well, it's packed, that's for sure. We've got big shonen finales and returns, a metric ton of isekai, a few interesting mysteries and romances, and some truly bizarre original premises. Is it the strongest season ever? Probably not quite winter 2025 levels of hype, but there's definitely variety. We've got comfy slice of life, intense action, dark fantasy, quirky comedy, and even whatever the Gorilla God situation is. Sequels are looking mostly solid, while the new shows range from highly anticipated Lazarus Gundam to, wait, what is this? Looking at you, Makina-san. Overall, spring 2025 seems like a season where you'll have to dig a bit, but you might find some real gems hidden amongst the less polished ore. But hey, that's just my initial take based on the premises and early buzz. What shows are you most excited about this season? What did I miss? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this super fast, slightly chaotic rundown, please hit that like button, share it with your anime-loving friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell so you don't miss my next video, where I'll probably be questioning my life choices after watching some of these. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.